Good day, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are watching us. Welcome back on our World Cup special on my channel. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share. On the World Cup special, we'll be having different guests for different episodes. This is the first episode. I'll be discussing all things World Cup. This is the first World Cup we'll be having on Arab soil. And this is the first World Cup that will be having not in June and July, but November, December. I have on the show today a well-known multimedia journalist. A lot of people call him MPFL Fabrizio, Mike Niavan, popularly known as Mike the Pundit.
Thank you, Muzami. Even if you wanted to add a wee bit of ginger to my name, but my name is Mike the Pundit, Michael Niavan. Good to be on this World Cup special.
And on the other side here, we have a good follower of football, Adebi Adesoji.
Thank you very much, Muzami. My name is Adebi Adesoji. I'm a very good footballer. I love football.
Thank you. On today's episode, we'll be discussing 4 major points: expectations from African teams at the World Cup, players that will be missing, popular players, big players that are missing at the World Cup, our expected entries into the Final Four, and the shockers that will happen at this World Cup. Thank you. It's very unfortunate that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be at the 2022 Qatar World Cup. But let's get straight into it from our African representative. In Group A, we have Senegal tackling Ecuador, the host Qatar, and the Orange of Netherlands.
Well, I think the Senegalese have a very good chance of qualification. They are the defending champions of African Cup of Nations, AFCON, and they've got a very good manager, Aliou Cisse, who has been with the team for a very long time. So they've got a crop of players that are very good now. You can say that from the defender to the goalkeeper, probably the attackers are the ones doing very fine. But then we know that club football is quite different from national team football. And when it comes to the World Cup, upsets are pretty bound to happen. So you look at the team of the Senegalese, there is Edouard Mendy, Koulibaly at the back. There's also Sadio Mane, of course. So those are the 3 key players. And fortunately for the Senegalese, they've got key men in key positions: goalkeeper, defender, of course, the attacker. So I'm expecting Senegalese to go maybe to the quarterfinal stage of this World Cup. They were very close last time out in 2018. But for this time, I think they have what it takes to really show what the African heartbeat is all about when it comes to the World Cup.
If you think about 20 years ago at the Korea-Japan World Cup, the last World Cup in Asian soil, they caused an upset, knocking out defending champions France and making it to the quarterfinal on their first attempt.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you can make it to your first to the quarterfinal on your first attempt, then you're a very good side, no doubt about it. So that's why I'm pretty confident in what they will do. In 2018, they tried as much to progress, but then they went into the 2019 AFCON. They won the AFCON, and now they are back on the world stage. So I think the progression is really there for all to see, and the fact that they are also keeping the same crop of players with the manager, they know what it is, and I think they would impress. I think they're the only side that can stick out my neck to say, yes, any African team, 5 of them, Senegalese are the one to watch out for.
It was very unfortunate 4 years ago. They didn't qualify due to yellow cards accumulated.
Yeah, they didn't. That's
very unfortunate. Let's move on to the second team, the second African team. In Group D, we have France, the defending champion, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia. Soji, what do you make of Tunisia's chances?
Chances for Tunisia are really, really slim. Because the French team have a very good team, even though they don't have Kante, Pogba, and the likes of others in the midfield. And then we have Denmark too, a very strong team. We saw them at the last Euro competition.
They're actually the first team to qualify for the World Cup from Europe.
In fact, that's fantastic from them. So I believe, and most of their players had a very, very good playing time at their club level. So I feel the chances for Tunisia is really, really slim. I'm not really banking on Tunisia to qualify out of the group.
Okay, before we go to Cameroon, let's go to our neighbors who knocked us out, who did us bad. Ghana, age. They will be facing Portugal, Uruguay, and Korea Republic.
It's a very tough ask for the Ghanaians after defeating the Super Eagles in Abuja. Not so a defeat on a way goal route, 1-1 in Abuja, goalless in Kumasi. After that, they would always be praying for that favorable draw, but that does not look quite favorable for them. Uruguay, Germany,
Uruguay, Portugal, and
Uruguay,
Korea,
Portugal, and Korea Republic.
Yeah.
Yes, Portugal rather. That's always going to be tough. Yes, there's tendency to have the repeat of the 2010 round of 16 game, quarterfinal game. Yeah, so they were looking at getting to the semi-final when that Luis Suarez happened in the last minute of extra time. So it's not the same Ghanaian team. The Ghanaian team we saw at the 2010 World Cup against Uruguay is quite different from now, and it took them an away goal rule to qualify against the Super Eagles. So, and the fact that behind the scene, it's not really been rosy. Otto Addo, their manager, of course, there is Thomas Partey, and there is this, I've forgotten his name now.
Inaki Williams.
Yeah, Inaki Williams. There's also one guy in the attack I want to quickly pick. In the midfield, Thomas Partey. Mohamed Kudus, thank you. Mohamed Kudus, and some of the Ghanaians say, Victor Osimhen. Only Victor Osimhen can come into their starting 11 in Ghana. That even Chukwueze is not better than Kudus and all of that. So
they have a lot of influx coming into the squad. They were not available during the qualifiers.
That's where the problem really is. That is where the problem really is. Yes, good influx on paper, very good players, but then how would they gel into the Ghanaian side? Their manager and their coach, Otto Addo, once managed at Borussia Dortmund, so I expect him to stay as assistant coach. Assistant coach, actually. So once did the assistant job there in Germany at Dortmund. So if you're looking at that angle and the fact that the new players are coming in, influx of players, foreigners, maybe they can progress. But then, like I said earlier, World Cup it's a tournament that upset can happen. We can say the Senegalese will be good and they exit in the group stage, and we can say the Ghanaians are bad and they will still go on in the quarterfinals. But then I think the Ghanaians on paper are not really strong enough to get out of a group that has got Portugal and Uruguay.
Oh, in Group G we have Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Soji, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah. Cameroon as a team, I would say they are doing fine.
So you had Brazil and had to sigh first because I had to slow down because the Brazilians are really good.
Because according to different sources and what we see on social media, Brazil are actually being tipped as the team to be in the World Cup final. They have lots of players that are actually good. They have the likes of Anthony.
Well, the Cameroonians are not bad. The Cameroonian team is not bad. You have the likes of Franco Anguissa, Toko Ekambi.
I'm not saying
Toko Ekambi always showed flashes on the African
and the highest goal scorer from the last AFCON Vincent
Abubakar, always on the African continent. Maybe he would swing up surprise.
And they have been led by a legend of African football,
Yes, a legend on the sideline, a legend in terms of their federation. Samuel Eto'o, head of their federation, Song is the manager, but that is really not enough when it comes to the World Cup.
Samuel Eto'o was asked that the two teams that will be playing the quarterfinal final, he mentioned Cameroon and Morocco, which takes up to Group F, where we have Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. What do you make of Morocco chances?
Moroccans, Hakimi can come from the flank. There's also the huge return of Hakim Ziyech. Either you like it or not, he has not had that enough game time at Chelsea. But the last time he played was against Manchester City, and he gave a very good account of himself. And now back in a more relaxed environment at Chelsea in the Premier League, the pressure is much for you to play. And with the Moroccan national team, I think they are a very brilliant side. Now I keep on saying it. The North Africans are always the countries on the African continent that I think matches the Europeans' technicality when it comes to how they play. So that's why I'm looking at Moroccans. Maybe they stand a chance of nicking one. There is Belgium, there is
Canada,
2018 runners-up, Croatia, and there's also Canada. So it's also a tough ask for them, really. But if they can get into the round of 16, I think they would be happy with their progression.
I think they have a good chance with the like of Yusuf and Esri, Ashraf Hakimi.
Yeah, exactly.
Hakim Ziyech. Now we talk about big players that have been missing at the World Cup. It's quite unfortunate. Some will be missing out due to injury, some due to their country not qualifying, and some they didn't get selected. For a player like Marco Reus, who missed the 2014 triumph of the Germans through injury, it's quite unfortunate to see him miss out on injury again. Mike, who is the biggest miss for you at the World Cup this year?
I think the biggest miss for me, in terms, I think I'm going to pick it up from two angles. One, in terms of the country not being good enough to qualify, in terms of qualification. That said, Norway, and that's Erling Haaland for obvious reasons due to the kind of form in which he blossomed in the Premier League, 18 goals he has scored and all. But in terms of injury, I think I am really sad for one very fine player. Yeah, this might come as a surprise for those that really know me. Miss James of Chelsea is a very, very fantastic player. And for someone that has dreamed about playing at the World Cup, and the fact that the English national team also struggle in that right back position, I think Miss James is really top of my list of players that I felt is really unfortunate injury-wise to miss out on the World Cup.
Considering Kyle Walker has not really had enough game time this season, with the form Reece James was in before the injury, will have commanded the right back position well.
Of course, straight into the starting 11, no doubt about it. Very good on the offensive, very good in the defensive. His transition, in fact, can also play the inverted midfield role. So he's very sound tactically. So that's why I'm really gutted for him, because it's really a dream for every player. The pinnacle of any footballer is the World Cup. So I honestly do think he would be gutted. And the fact that he also had this very slim chance, Southgate didn't take him to the World Cup. There was also this issue about Ivan Toney putting out a post, and with James commenting and saying if I speak I'm in trouble or something, which means he had a chance because there was one injured player that went to the English with the World Cup with the English national team. Even Phillips, Calvin Phillips just came from injury, so there was the outside chance. Even now, Sadio Mane is injured as of present, but Senegalese cannot do without him. I think he's going to be missing the first game of the Senegalese at the World Cup. But I think with James slots straight into the starting 11 for the English national team is a very, very big miss for Gareth Southgate.
It's quite unfortunate that a lot of French stars will be missing defending champions, World Cup winners. We have N'Golo Kante missing out due to injury. We have Paul Pogba missing out due to injury. But the saddest of them all is Christopher Nkunku, who got injured in training and has been replaced by Randall Kolo Muani. So what do you have to say about this?
Nkunku had a very good season, and he's also having a very good season. I think he won the German best player.
Yeah, last season.
Even he's a good scorer.
Yeah.
No, he scored so many goals.
I think he registered about 16 goals and 15 assists. So Nkunku missing out on the World Cup after being named in the squad is a very huge blow to him and to the French team, because with the likes of Coman, with the likes of Mbappe, I feel Nkunku will fit in and play a very, very significant role in the French national team at the World Cup.
Sad for Christopher Nkunku, happy for Kolo Muani.
Yeah, that's the thing, because the player was not even in the making. It just felt now they've gotten him invited. So if one person's situation does not get unfortunate, the other situation does not get better, obviously.
So any other big name that you'll be missing?
One big name also. I think I'm looking at the African teams now. I'm looking at the African teams. Sadio Mane, it's not like he's going to be missing. Yeah, I understand. But the fact that he would not be playing the first game, according to sources, is a really big blow. In fact, don't be surprised if he failed to even play a single game at the World Cup. It's going to always be a big miss.
Started to be like a curse. The last World
Cup.
For
the Senegalese?
No, for African teams, the last World Cup, Sadio Mane was, Mo Salah was in a similar situation.
Yeah, Mo Salah, yeah. Yeah, with I think that was the pool with Sergio Ramos.
Champions League.
In the French team we had Pasnel Kipembe also dropping out due to injury, and we have been played by Axel Disasi.
Yeah, it's always now talking about the French national team. It's always going to be difficult since I think 1974. No country has defended the World Cup after winning it. In fact, the last 3 countries have missed out, and in the very early rounds, there is the Germans in the group stages, the Germans, the Italians also,
and the
French national teams. Now, the French would look at themselves and would not want that particular situation in 2002 to happen now. Now, if they are to really look at themselves and say we don't want that situation to happen, the fact that injury is now creeping into the side means that now maybe the omen as of now is not really good enough.
And finally, on this episode, we'll be talking about top 4 candidates to get into the semi-finals, top individual performance, and expected shockers at the 2022 World Cup. Mike.
What my top 4 candidates, I have in no particular order: Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. No, not Uruguay. Brazil, Argentina. I think the French national team, and Portugal.
Yeah.
To make it interesting, I know.
Okay, your Golden Ball winner.
Golden Ball winner, I feel Kylian Mbappe. Best player of the highest goal scorer. Golden Ball winner,
Yeah.
I think Neymar. Highest goal scorer, I think Kylian Mbappe.
Golden Glove.
Golden Glove, looking at Alisson Becker.
Young Player of the Year. Of the
Young
tournament.
player, depending on how the French or the Brazilians move, Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior.
Okay. For me, I'm expecting one of the Barca duo of Gavi and Pedri to state a nice
Spanish
claim.
national team.
Yeah, to state a nice claim for themselves.
Yeah, depending on how far the Spaniards will move in the tournament.
Expected shocker.
Expected shocker, Senegalese to the quarterfinals, very close to the semi-final.
Okay. Soji, top 4 countries.
Oh, top 4 countries. I go with Brazil. I go with Portugal, and I go with the French national team. Then let's see. I wouldn't say I go with the Argentines.
Yeah, we know where you're going.
Do I sense
If you say you send,
Then it's not a very good side, but
agree to you,
okay, good.
to me.
To the world, we'll say.
Okay, let's leave it at that. We get your point. Who's your fourth choice?
First choice, probably Senegal.
Yeah, I like that. I wanted to mention Senegal, but I like that.
that.
Give it a chance to the African
So,
countries.
Golden Ball winner.
Golden Ball,
Best player of the tournament.
best player of the tournament. I go with Karim Benzema. Highest goal scorer, Karim Benzema also. He had a fantastic season.
we'll come back to this episode because it's Lamba.
No problem.
Expected shocker.
Expected shocker. Daniels to the quarterfinal.
Really?
That will be very
Guardians!
interesting. And this is where we draw the curtain on this episode. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and we're expecting you to join us in the next episode. Thank you.
Puyaka.